This is Weekly Woman by Jubilance for PMS. Hello, Chelsea. Thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, we're so excited for you to be on Weekly Woman, presented by Jubilance. Our big question that we ask everyone right now is, what have you been up to the past 2 years in this weird time?
Isn't that so funny? What have you been up to for the last 2 years? You know, like everyone, it's been a whirlwind, but the main thing that I've been doing is pivoting my business. How do you take a business that was rooted in in-person events and global travel and keep it going, right? A business that's circled around in-person connection. But giving thought to this question, it kind of occurred to us that it's not about in-person connection. It's about human connection in general. So I think what we've been doing and what I've been busy doing for 2 years is pivoting the business of Millie from global travel and in-person events to the podcast and also the Millie Marketplace, which creates economic empowerment for women worldwide. So we're kind of hitting it from the two angles now. And I've been spending a lot of time with my dogs at home because we're not really going out anymore. So yeah, but
Did you get
everyone trying to get by. Pardon me.
Sorry, did you get a pandemic dog? Or did you already have these?
I didn't. I have 3 dogs. I know, to all the dog lovers watching.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy. So we'll probably talk more about it, but one of my dogs is from Jordan.
Wow, that's amazing.
So one of my, it was crazy. I was facilitating a Millie trip pre-pandemic and found the dog and couldn't give it up.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. So the pandemic has, given us the space to spend more time with the dogs.
Yeah. And can you tell us, yeah. And Chelsea, can you tell us a little bit more about what Millie is? So we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but Chelsea is the founder of this amazing company, Millie. And I've been following her progress for many months now. But can you explain what it is for everyone listening?
Yes. So Millie is an organization that was founded in 2018. And it's funny because what was founded on global travel and in-person women-led conferences has now changed. So we founded Millie with the empowerment to empower and inspire global perspective, connection, and kindness and compassion. And we think that we can achieve that through storytelling and in-person connection. Now it's global, human connection in general. And so we launched Millie, curating intimate women-led travel trips to Jordan and women conferences in Toronto. We hope to expand the conferences, but of course now with the pandemic, it's a bit more tricky. And we just think through storytelling, authentic storytelling and meaningful connection, we can grow as human beings and learn from diverse voices. So that's what Millie is. And now we have the Millie podcast and the Millie Marketplace, which works with women artisans from all over the world. I think we work with 10 countries now. So it's really grown from our original platform into something that was probably coming anyway. But yeah, we've collaborated with over 60 women, formally collaborated with over 60 women worldwide, and 36 women of color, which we're really proud of. Our teams are diverse as well. So we hire diverse, we're inclusive of, identities and everyone. So
that's amazing. It's amazing that you were able to pivot in such a quick and different way. And kind of like what you were saying, kind of how you would expand naturally anyway, but just were pushed off the deep end into.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really was. And there was a lot of like everyone, self-doubt and the team were thinking, what are we going to do now? And we tried to reboot travel again, but then of course with variants, it's just hard because this is more boring, but outside of what we know, which are the variants, sometimes what we don't know is are the government restrictions, in other countries, the
Yeah.
policy. So it's hard sometimes to know where we can travel next. So we just went with what we know, and connection works. So we just kept the storytelling. We just took it on online.
Yeah. And that's so important right now. I think people are struggling and trying to find connection in this like super weird time. And that's our only solution is online, which is so amazing that you're able to keep that up.
Thank you. Well,
Can you?
you too. I was saying to my
Oh,
girlfriends, I was so excited to meet someone new today.
yeah.
The human connection,
Yeah. I know it's so nice to talk to a human.
I know. Definitely.
Yeah. And can you talk a little bit about why Jordan? Why did you pick Jordan to travel to? Why were you bringing women there? Can you talk a little bit more about how that sparked?
Yes. So in 2017, I think I was on a project called the PIN Project, and we planned a development trip to Jordan. We brought the Globe and Mail, which was amazing to bring awareness. There's a beautiful article online about the Syrian refugee crisis, which the PIN Project supports. So in 2017, I worked with the founder, Hedwig Alexander, and we collaborated, with Millie was a collaborator, Ishkar, Global Artisan Goods, Turquoise Mountain, who now develops the pin exclusively, crafts the pin exclusively. And in 2017, that was my first country in the Arab world that I had visited. So I was really excited. And Hedwig, she's lived in Afghanistan for years working with Turquoise Mountain. So I was under strong leadership going into this new country. And it was through that development trip for the PIN project that really opened my eyes to how important connecting with diverse cultures is that are geographically far away and sometimes emotionally far away for people. So I think it's important that we kind of lead the charge with that. But it was that trip that opened the door and why I chose Jordan. So that was a really interesting experience.
Wow, that's so fascinating. Yeah, I studied Arabic in college, and so I studied abroad in Morocco, so far
Oh my
away
God.
from Jordan, but I always wanted to make it there. So hopefully in a couple of years when the
Well,
pandemic
maybe one
is,
day. Exactly. I've always wanted to go to Morocco.
oh my gosh, it's amazing. You've got to go
I've
sometime.
heard amazing things. And
Yeah.
Jordan is too. It's so beautiful and the people are amazing. So I'll give you a list of everything. A brief
Okay, perfect.
what restaurants to dine at.
Yes,
Really.
I would love that. Yeah. Just like the craft work too, in like all of the different marketplaces is just amazing, which is
Yeah.
kind of what you're incorporating with the Millie Marketplace. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you're giving voices to women with your marketplace?
Thank you so much. Yes. So the marketplace is packed, well, curated, I guess. It's a small marketplace, but handmade pieces from women from all over the world. I'm like, where to start? Because there are different countries that I can discuss. But for example, the PIN project in Jordan, we carry that. And up until, so Turquoise Mountain, although they employ and work with women artisans in their other locations, in Jordan, they did not work with women artisans until their scholarship their artisan scholarship that Millie helped them launch, I guess, in 2018. And through that, 3 artisans were trained and then has worked on our projects and other projects, even with Pippa Small, who's a huge designer. And she was, she helped build products for Fashion Week. Very, very cool. So we are creating an outlet for the women to sell the Turquoise Mountain products. So we now carry the pin and a bracelet as well that's made by their jewelry department led by women. So we're really proud to be part of that creation. And then I want to talk about in Africa, Femme, the dresses are one thing that I think we're talking about today, but there's also other parts of Africa that we work with. And it's all weaving, basket weaving. And it's really special because these are talents that are passed down generation to generation, like many skills in the artisan world. However, I guess the access to selling the pieces to create that livelihood is limited given their geographic location. So when you are purchasing an item from the Millie Marketplace, you are putting dollars directly into the artisan's pocket. So we are just another, I guess, outlet for the artisans to have access to sell, their beloved pieces that are so highly skilled, made in a highly skilled way. And, we're in love with this new chapter in the marketplace. I want to keep everything, but it's hard to say.
I know.
It's really special.
I was browsing through and I was like, I want this and this. I saw the beautiful placemats that were hand woven. They're just gorgeous.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you
just
so
amazing.
Much. It's really special, even when you get into the fine print of the descriptions, which are, sometimes things are made seasonally. One of the bread plates that's made in Jordan, the artisan grows and dyes everything naturally. So the hibiscus is grown in her backyard. So it's really it's almost farm to table kind of. And it's really interesting. It's the process is slow production, slow batch production. So sometimes things are carried in only 2 pieces. But we're really, really proud of this project.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I really want to talk about your collaboration with Femme International because it kind of ties with us, Jubilance for PMS. And you're working to help stop period poverty with this organization. Can you talk a little bit more about this and this collaboration that you have?
Yes. I'm like, again, where to start? I was introduced, I have to give my father-in-law credit. He was leading a project that the founder, Sabrina Rubli, was working in Toronto. I think it was, I don't want to get the college wrong. I don't want to get in trouble, but I'm somehow drawing a blank, but I blame not seeing people face to face for sometimes when I have these blanks in my head, because
no problem.
Conversation. I'm like, oh no, but he's an amazing person, and he was leading this course or this workshop. And Sabrina is created Femme after a trip that she was in. It was in Kenya, and she did a trip there, and she met amazing women who, it was very clear that period poverty is very real in the world, even in our backyard, but there. So this NGO, Fem International, is Canadian founded, and it's operating to alleviate taboos associated with menstruation. There's so many, and also alleviate period poverty in East Africa. So they do that through 2 of their programs, Toweze and Trende. And we just reached out to them. I invited the managing director on my podcast. So her story's out there. She's amazing. Her name is Florence. She's a former lawyer, and then she changed into NGO work to find something more meaningful. And we felt this desire to help them fundraise, because fundraising with COVID, I meant to say COVID has affected fundraising for a lot of organizations. So we wanted to be part of that. But how can we be part of that and also create, and also, help people learn something along the way? So we thought, through the dresses that we designed with a local dressmaker in Tanzania, people can buy something that they love and contribute to something important. So that's basically what the project is. And 100% of, proceeds go to Femme International through the sales.
That's amazing. Wow. That's just incredible what you guys are able to do and partner with like different organizations, over 60 women that you're collaborating with.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's like, okay, let's email you. Let's call you, right? Let's connect. Let's do this, because as we know, 2 is better than 1. And when we can come together with a shared goal, we can really make more impact than just doing it alone.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Chelsea.
Thank you.
Something that we always ask on this podcast is, what is your definition of womanhood?
Yes, I saw that. I think that womanhood, so I was giving this a lot of thought, and what comes to me is that womanhood is just being a human being who feels deeply, who loves deeply, and most of all, who wants to be seen. So often I have traveled to countries and met these and interviewed these amazing women who have conviction and who are brave and who are savagely strong. Like, women are just insanely naturally strong, but they're not seen, given several reasons: geographical location,
Mm-hmm.
lack of access. But that doesn't mean that they don't want to be seen, and that doesn't mean that they are stopping to be seen and stopping their path forward. So in a longer winded way, I would say women really were just, at the end of the day, human beings with human rights,
Mm-hmm.
and women who just want to be seen, and people who identify as women. It's an
Mm-hmm.
inclusive, we live in an
Yeah.
inclusive world, and people who identify as women.
Yeah. Kind of like Lizzo. If you feel like a girl, then you're
Oh,
real like
I
a
love it.
girl.
Yeah, I love it. And I think it's
Yeah.
subjective, but at the end of the day, if they're meeting people, it's very clear that, I think womanhood, it's just wanting to be seen for who you are. And then what I identify as being a woman, and my peers in my circle, it's mentorship, it's
Mm-hmm.
trailblazing, it's acceptance and not judging. um, and honestly, women to me are just the strong, like, there's so much strength that goes into being a woman. And I really look up to, I think the common factor of the women that I look up to are just fiercely strong.
Mm. I think that's lovely what you were able to say about being seen, and whether or not we're seen, like because of our geographic location or access, or just like gender and the fluidity of it and who sees us.
Mhm.
So I think that's really interesting and like interesting to think about. And I think what Millie is doing is letting those women be seen, letting people from all over the world have access to like telling their story, or just like putting, like how you say storytelling is part of the Millie idea. And so you're sharing those stories of other women to let them be seen in the world, which is so cool.
Thank you. I'm gonna like float out of here. It's so nice to talk to you. It feels so good. But exactly, and I think through storytelling, it's where true empathy can happen. I was listening to my podcast interview with a Syrian author, and her and I have a very similar definition of why, she's a writer. So she is talking about storybooks, but storytelling, and it's where true empathy can happen, because if we and how if we don't know, we can be afraid of it. So I think through understanding and storytelling, understanding through storytelling is how we can really learn and have an empathetic and, you know, open society.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely true. Just hearing like what you're doing with Millie, or like what's happening in Toronto,
I know.
because we're based in the United States, but there's so much happening all over the world about period poverty, about lifting women up, anyone who identifies as a woman up.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
And Chelsea, is there anything else you'd like to add? Like, what is Millie going to do next?
I know. I know. Thank you so much. We're really excited about the podcast. So the
Awesome.
podcast for us is so important because it's connecting people. It's actually, if not more effective than global travel, because anyone can listen to a podcast if they have a phone or a computer or access to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And we think that's amazing because, we can, just like what you're doing, with your storytelling, we can talk to many women, and you don't have to fly to, Senegal to, or India to meet someone. We can meet them over the internet, and we can hear their story and learn something. We can have fun and learn something along the way. But I would say if anyone is interested, please reach out. We're accessible and we're open. So if anyone's interested to connect with any of the organizations we work with, or want to learn more, please, we're just a click away.
That's awesome, Chelsea. And what's your website and your Instagram
Yes,
handle so everyone can
yes.
find you?
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are www.millie, Millie.ca, or Canadian, so CA. And our Instagram handle is at the Millie Community.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for being on today. It was so nice to meet you.
It's so good to meet you. And I can't thank you enough. It was so lovely receiving this invitation and connecting with you and getting to meet you. Hopefully we can meet in person one day soon. And good luck with everything.